here, and welcome to the War Report. I know we're going into the year on a somber note, but we're here, and I'm your host, Cyrus, who is COVID negative. So that is some good news that we could talk about on the show, but let's get to in the trenches where we have to get to the somber news. But first, I know I took a week off last week, and we didn't get to talk about some of the topics, but all I remember from last week is NBA Twitter finding out that Jericho is fat and shouldn't be wrestling anymore. And this brought up a lot of discourse, as you know, such a tiring word to use, but I think that's the only way that it could be described, where people were talking about, oh, maybe we shouldn't like fat shame Chris Jericho, or talking about how AEW doesn't really have any mainstream appeal, or it doesn't look any more different from the WWE based off all the tweets that just said AEW looks like a fake WWE. So I think that brings a true identity issue to AEW, where on a normal show, and we'll talk about the show this week, but on a normal show, it doesn't look any different from what, people probably remember from the WWE, or, see in passing about the WWE. And maybe AEW should really change that, because when they came out originally, they wanted to be this alternative, this and that, and they finally get into the mainstream and everybody says you're just a fake WWE. So maybe going into 2021, AEW can really step it up and try to be different. Another news topic: Kenny Omega said some weak shit about Kota Ibushi. I think something about Kota Ibushi just like slumming it up in New Japan, like how I believe the story was Kenny Omega felt like he would have just been stuck in like the mid card, or not doing anything significant if he stayed in New Japan, and he said like Kota Ibushi. And I want everybody to just take a step back. Let's just all take a step back and then look at both of their career trajectories right now, or like where they have been positioned currently. So Kota Ibushi, he is, kind of on the top of the card. He was a tag team champion at some point, and he formed a tag team with Tanahashi. Two singles wrestlers formed a tag team. They lose the tag team titles. He wins a big tournament, and now he's going to challenge for the title that he might win. Let's just take a step back. Let's look at Kenny Omega. Was on the mid card, not doing anything for a very long time. He became in the tag team champions with another singles wrestler, Hangman Page. Wins a big tournament, gets a title shot, but he wins it. I don't know about y'all, but they seem to be in the same career trajectory. I guess Kenny Omega just wanted to be a heel and, say some shit that he knew that would bother people. But just like on AEW, Kenny Omega is the second biggest topic that we'll be discussing on In the Trenches and in the show in general, because we have to talk about the biggest thing that happened in pro wrestling. Rest in peace to BRODIE Lee. Just a very unfortunate and random loss. I know on this show, many a times before, I was just like, man, where is BRODIE Lee? This show needs BRODIE Lee. BRODIE Lee losing the title to Cody, just ping-ponging the title was really weird. Tony Khan, I think a month ago, said that he knows where BRODIE Lee is, or like his situation, but he's not going to say anything. And I think that's great, because AEW is usually oddly transparent, but I'm glad he kept that close to his chest, and we all received unfortunate news earlier this week. Now, this is where we get to the bad stuff, where it's just weird how everybody has reacted to this, outside of, people just paying their respects, people missing him, honoring him, paying tribute to him, which will be the big issue, or like the big thing about it. Everybody just wanted to pay their respects, but literally, I go to sleep. I saw a tweet that said, "No more WWE versus AEW stuff. Let's just come together." Blah blah blah. I go to sleep. I wake up. I see a long thread that is linked in the Wrestle Chat that's just talking about like, nah, screw all that, no more AEW, WWE stuff, because WWE should be held accountable for their actions regardless of somebody dying. I agree. I do think that, just holding the company accountable is something that we should do all the time. But, nobody does it. Nobody truly does it for AEW. But also, it's just like, why is that the topic of discussion when we are paying our respects to an individual as talked about and as amazing as Brodie Lee is? I just thought that was weird that that's kind of like the next course of action that people wanted to take. I said it on the Wrestle Rap podcast that the wrestling community is very toxic, and it was in relation to CM Punk's influence on the company, on the wrestling community, but on the online wrestling community. But like, this is like insane, where not even like 12 hours people can just be on like the same page and just be like, Brodie Lee was like a great individual, like, here's my favorite Brodie Lee match, this and that. Like, somebody said, let's not turn this into an AEW WWE thing, and then literally a day later it became that, and then it became a thing all throughout this week. The wrestling community thrives on this like toxic energy where nobody can like come together and say or just talk about something they like for more than an hour before it takes a turn into negativity. And I will say, on the show, I've been critical. I've said a lot of things on here critiquing shows, but like, I can honestly say, like, stuff that I like about AEW, stuff I don't like about NXT. Like, I'm not picking a side, truly, like, not ever. But it's so weird that it went that route, It's so weird to me. And obviously the tweets that came from Brian Myers and Darby Allin, fuck them too for even tweeting that and even engaging in that conversation, because them saying what they said, well, Brian Myers kind of created the conversation, but Darby Allin putting more fuel into that fire, just some asshole shit, really. Like, the tribute versus tribute that the WWE versus the AEW thing, like, it's absolutely insane. Like, why is that like the first thing that comes to your mind? Like, if you expected WWE to do a tribute show to Brodie Lee, you're insane. That's not a thought that happens in my head. Like, when he passed, that wasn't like the first thing that came to mind. Like, WWE got to like go all out for him. He passes, literally everybody is like, a unity that I've truly never seen before, and it was like shattered moments later by regular ass trolls and shit. People that are in Stephanie McMahon's and Vince's mentioned saying, you didn't book him properly, so you don't get to pay your respects. Like, what kind of bullshit is this? Like, what are like and when SmackDown comes on in a couple hours, in a couple minutes, it might have a tribute show. It might have the 10 bell salute and all that. And if you see that tweet, if you see somebody tweet, WWE is only doing it because AEW did the tribute on Wednesday, like the full tribute on Wednesday, like, just block them, just get rid of them or roast them, whatever, get them the fuck out of here. Like, this type of energy cannot be a constant or a regular thing when we go into 2021. Like, not even because Brodie Lee passed, just in general. Like, I think we'll just it would not be such a pain to get on Twitter or engage with people if we just, you know, just talked about or just been fucking normal, honestly. Like everybody's just so fucking weird. But with that said, we're gonna get into the tribute show. Uh we're gonna get into the AEW.
It's Wednesday, and you know what that means, as we welcome you to a celebration of life of Mr. Brody Lee. And to get it started, we'll send it down to Justin Roberts.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise as we toll the bell 10 times to honor the memory of Brody Lee.
Last episode I did, which was a week ago because I didn't do the Christmas show, I thought that the AEW show this week was really good. Like, I said on Twitter that it would be truly weird for me to like discuss this show or really talk about it, like, no, doing my normal critiques and visions and stuff, which I'm gonna do. But I thought the show was really enjoyable, so I don't have to be too critical like I normally am. I really did like this show a lot. It gave me the Survivor Series type feel, where it's kind of like Dark Order versus AEW in all sorts of like kind of just like fantasy booking or like My Universe type thing, and we just saw a lot of great fun matches. And I hope in the future that AEW does revisit this like sort of thing where it's AEW versus Dark Order. Like I think that would be really cool. On Twitter I said, sorry if this sounds distasteful, but everybody on the show is working really, really hard, which is like true. Like everybody worked amazingly, and I wish AEW was like this weekly. And I thought it might be distasteful because I thought people might take it as me saying like, oh man, like, whatever, just me being weird and overthinking. I thought somebody would be like, oh, like somebody died, like somebody shouldn't have to die for the shows to be this way. I didn't want that to be the tone. That's why I did a disclaimer first. But I thought this was a really good show, like pay-per-view quality. Like a lot of the matches were really good. You get to see a lot of new people, a lot of like people that normally don't get on the show, or like if they're on the show, it's kind of like whatever that they do. But like, I think a lot of people in the Dark Order had like stellar performances tonight. They really came through. You can see it. John Silver went fucking crazy. I'm a fan. If he like keeps this up, I thought he was doing amazing. Anna Jay, always been a big fan. I thought she was doing great on the show as well. Takanti did really good in the match as well, but it was really more or less for Anna Jay to show her respects and shine. And I did like that Penelope Ford got the pin and not Britt Baker. They didn't sacrifice any like booking for, or like any storyline booking for the tribute show, which is like great. Like, they booked the show amazingly. Who else? Ten, who was in the actual tribute to Brody Lee match, which I'll talk about in a second. But the Britt Baker, Takanti, Anna Jay, no, the Anna Jay. Wait, no. The Anna Jay Takanti versus Britt Baker and Penelope Ford was a really good match. And I'm glad, like I said, I'm glad Britt Baker didn't take the pin, and they're still continuing the Thunder Rosa story. So hopefully when Revolution comes around, we'll get that match. And hopefully it's amazing. And then hopefully she could take the title off Hikaru Shida. What's next? The tribute match, which is Team FTW, Will Hobbs, Crage, Starks versus Cody, Cassidy, and Ten. I believe the match is Brody Lee Jr.'s like favorite wrestlers, which is like Orange Cassidy's in the match because -1, which I think is hilarious, wanted to deem so. I like this match a lot, but it's kind of bittersweet because I still think that Team FTW should be, they deserve better. And they have a new guy named Hook. Sorry, I haven't watched. I didn't do the show last week, so I didn't really pay attention to much what's happening on there. And if he showed up on AEW Dark, I'm truly unfamiliar with who he is. Really, he just looks like an ordinary white kid to me. Like, he came out in joggers, polo shorts, maybe Roshi runs or goddamn Ultra Boost. Dude looks like an average white dude to me. So I feel bad for him because he looks like an average white dude. And he's on Team FTW, which kind of just does nothing on AEW. But I thought the match was really, really good. 10. He didn't shine as much as John Silver did in his match against the with Bucks and Colt Cabana. Like I thought, no, was it? Yeah, man, why am I blanking? I have the notes, but I thought the match was good. But 10, they gave him time to shine, and I thought it was really cool. Yes, it was John Silver, Hangman Page, and Andrew Reynolds, I believe, versus Pride and Powerful and MJF. I've given up on Private Party, so I mean Pride and Powerful. Sorry, just a lot of P's. I gave up on them. Like, them losing all the time, it's whatever. But John Silver and Hangman Page, they banged, they went crazy. When MJF ripped the mask off -1, Brody Jr., absolutely insane. But I'm glad the kid got his comeuppance by whacking him with a kendo stick. He looked very excited doing that. So that was a really cool moment. The Kingston family versus Archer and the Dark Order was really good as well. Shoutouts to Archer coming out in the Luke Harper inspired gear. I thought that was really good. I like Butcher and the Blade a lot. I think they're really good. Just whatever they do with the King. Right now, I know it's not like too crazy booking heavy, but they need to do something with the Kingston family, like really raise them up to the top. Stu Grayson and Evil Uno, they also need to like start making some strides in the tag division. But I thought this match was really good. I do like Butcher and the Blade. It took. I wouldn't say it took a year. Maybe. Oh man, when they came out with MJF like way back. Yeah, just about a year. But they're on my good side. I'll say that. I really enjoyed them. The Bucks, Colt Cabana versus Private Party and Hardy. You know how I feel about Colt Cabana and Matt Hardy. Not big fans of either of those guys. The Bucks get the win, which is cool. I'm not a big fan of Matt Hardy and Private Party as of right now, but whatever they're doing with, Matt Hardy just kind of like being a bad teacher, essentially, and steering them in the wrong path, and whatever the story is, this does not need to pass January. I'm sorry, like, this needs to end soon. Matt Hardy does not need to be on the show anymore. Private Party has taken so many losses, and now pairing them with Matt Hardy is only like putting excuses on the losses that they already been accumulating now. Like, they've been losing a lot, but now it's like losing, but like with an asterisk, and it's just like Matt Hardy being an asshole. Like, whatever. Let's move past that and start having them do something real. Like, the Private Party desperately needs some like real rehabbing right now. With that said, quick hits. Kenny Omega isn't on the show, but they had time to put the Acclaim on the show. big eyebrow raising emojis, man. I'm not sure, like, what they're doing with Kenny Omega right now is not good. Like, he is primarily on Impact, or a lot of his shit is Impact focused. That's not good. Like, the only match he had on AEW since being champion, I believe, was that, like, really, like, weird, nonsensical match that he had with Joey Janela. That's not good. And with that being said, my hot take as of right now, as Kenny Omega being champion, is that Kenny Omega brought that championship down. The AEW World title is now a mid-card belt. The TNT title is way more important than that title, and it showed tonight for a reason, but like all eyes are like really around that title. We have Sting hanging around Darby Allin, Cody hanging around Darby Allin, who has that title. Like, Kenny Omega is such a non-factor on these shows since being AEW champion. The card, the title has truly lost its prestige. Like, Jericho, although we may not like him currently, he brought legitimacy to that title. We all know that. Cody, we know why Jon Moxley brought credibility to that title, even though, like, we may not like all his matches, but, like, shit, the title was fucking important when he had it. Kenny Omega gets the title and he's, like, fucking around on Impact all the every week. He's on Impact more. He's on Impact doing more stuff on there than he is doing on AEW. This is truly puzzling. And then he has the audacity to go talk shit about, say what he had to say about Kota Ibushi. Like, it is absolutely baffling to me. Kenny Omega, two guys that are washed. Chris Jericho, they need to stop putting him on commentary. I say this all the time. He really tried his hardest to ruin this episode. He really did. It did not work, but he tried his damn hardest. When Anna Jay did her tribute to BRODIE Lee, and then Chris Jericho just starts screaming on the microphone as he does it, stop that. Like, that doesn't help. That doesn't work. He's not getting any talent over. It's not helping. If they would have had Cody on commentary, because when Cody was on commentary, he was crushing it. Have him be like the fourth man. Honestly, they don't even need a fourth man. Like, why do they keep adding Jericho there? Just stop. We don't need Chris Jericho on commentary going on into 2021. And last quick hit. Stop trying to do the parallels between Darby Allin and Sting. They are not the same person. They are not alike. They really tried this week. It did not work. Stop it. Now, like, fourth week into AEW on Sting's multi-year contract, all he's done is just show up. It's Sting, and then that's it. How is that, like, I don't know about y'all, but how is that not wear thin yet? If you read the reports that Sting came into AEW, a couple weeks ago, in the top of December, and you read the reports of Sting coming to AEW, and you tune in, and then just for a month straight, all you get is it's Sting, and then he, like, does nothing. Like, come on, son. Like, what is that? Like, they're not. It doesn't seem like they're setting up a match at Revolution. All he does is just hang around Darby Allin. I'm not sure what Darby Allin's doing at Revolution. It doesn't look like he has a true challenger to me. If it's not Cody, who's racking up all these wins. It's so weird to me what they're doing with Darby Allin, and I think Sting is only really holding him back because, they have to keep doing the parallels instead of just having Darby wrestle. Shit, Darby might be fucking injured if he's not fucking wrestling. I'd rather have them have it on Cody because he would actually defend the title. But hopefully everything figures itself out in 2021. And with that said, we're going to get into the NXT Awards. NXT, and then predictions for New Year's Evil. So, with the NXT awards on the week of Christmas, they gave the nominees. I gave my thoughts on all the nominees. I thought it was really weird that there's a lot of people that shouldn't be like even in the category. Honestly, like I don't know why Tegan Knox was in the best female wrestler. I don't know why Casey Catanzaro and Kaden Carter were on was on the best like breakout star when you have like people like Shotzi Blackheart, Cameron Grimes, and Dexter Lumis on there. Just laughable, really. But we're gonna go down the categories. Best event, War Games. I completely agree. I love War Games. Best rivalry, Adam Cole and Pat McAfee, which I don't think that's what I voted for, but I did like it a lot because I think I wanted Walter versus Isla Dragunov because, or no, it was Kaylee Ray versus Piper Niven because, you know, it was longer and a lot of these feuds on a lot of the feuds that were nominated like were only like 3 weeks ago, 2 months ago. Like they're all fresh and new, and none of like Keith Lee's feuds were on there, which is like weird. Like Keith Lee is not featured on it on any of the categories, which is I thought that was really weird. But Adam Cole and Pat McAfee gave us one of the like amazing matches of this year. Everybody kind of like just turned around and everybody's minds were blown, and you know, it blew all our expectations out the water. Breakout star, I don't know. I think I voted for Dexter Lumis, but like, why didn't I think about it? Like, it's obviously Shotzi Blackheart. Like, they've given everything to her since she is like came up. Since the top of the year where she eliminated Shayna from the Rumble, she basically ran Shayna out of the NXT territory. She's been a reliable babyface. Like, I talk shit about it, but you know, whatever big feud is had with versus Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez, like Shotzi Blackheart's right there, you know. So Shotzi Blackheart also hosting, obviously, Halloween Havoc. She's a very big focal point on the show. Best female wrestler, Io Shirai. Yeah, I don't know how you can fight that. Best male wrestler, Adam Cole. I don't know how you can't fight that. Like, it's undisputed. And match of the year candidate, or match of the year, Kyle O'Reilly versus Finn Balor at TakeOver 30. A close second is Isla Dragunov versus Walter. Like, those are just like the only two. And kind of mixed on this, future star, Austin Theory, which, like, yeah, because, like, you know, he was like shoehorned into Mania, and then he like disappeared for a really long time, and then like, I don't know, I thought it was weird. Like, I think the person that definitely should have won this is Dexter Lumis, but I don't have the nominees here, so if he wasn't nominated, then whatever. Well, shit, it should have been like Dexter Lumis, Grimes, Kushida, like literally anybody. But it is what it is. Best overall, Io Shirai. It was Io Shirai versus Adam Cole, and I thought Io Shirai getting it was very interesting. You know, neither is a bad pick, but it was some really good stuff. And then we'll get into the NXT show. The Dusty Rhodes Classic is coming back, which everybody can finally get their tag team fix that they've been fiending for. Normally, I don't truly... Like, I'm not the biggest tag team wrestling fan, so I guess I'll start appreciating it a little bit, a little bit more. But representing Undisputed Era will be Adam Cole and Roderick Strong. I think that's a good pairing. That should be fun, especially with Bobby Fish injured and Kyle O'Reilly kind of like doing his own singles thing. So that's really good. A lot of people were like upset that like NXT tag team division isn't like, you know, I saw somebody say it was worse than New Japan's. Fuck out of here. New Japan legitimately only has like one legitimate tag team. I don't know how we're upset at two, you know, two non-tag team or like two singles guys forming a tag team and then winning it. Like who like gives a shit? Like it gave us all great matches, and they didn't win the titles after, so it's whatever. Aleister Black versus Ricochet. Honestly, they should have been called up already, and you know they already reached the ceiling. And then it gave us a amazing match at Takeover 20. I think it was Takeover 25. No, or shit, I forgot what the name of the pay-per-view was. It's the one that has Roderick Strong and Matt Riddle on it. If you're screaming on your phone, don't tell me I already forgot. I'm not gonna remember right now. And then you know we got Pete Dunne versus Pete Dunne and Riddle. Pete Dunne and the Bruiserweights, and that gave us a great match. Damn, who did they win it from? Was it Undisputed Era? Probably was. Amazing. It was great. So I don't know why people are complaining about that, but everybody's going to get their tag team fixed, and I am rooting for Grizzled Young Vets to get the win. If I'm praying that they don't I'm praying that they're on the other side of the Undisputed Era. That's what I'm hoping for. But when the bracket comes out, maybe I'll change my mind. But I'm really hard set on Grizzly Young Vets, and I'm curious to see if they bring anybody else from NXT UK, like what is it, Pretty Dangerous or Pretty Deadly? I don't know who they are, but I would like to see what they got. And that's the most talk about tag team wrestling you'd get out of me this year. Roger Strong versus Pete Dunne was really good. I like that the Britain Brawlers did not interfere. That was really cool. Kyle O'Reilly and Finn Balor had a really good segment, and I like that Cross finally came out, made his championship aspirations real. We knew it was coming, but I needed him to say it. Like I just needed him to say it to know that they're going into that route. Priest comes out and they just start throwing big hits. They're brawling all over the arena. I don't know. I would love for this match to have like a stipulation, like just the way that they were brawling. I was just like, man, they need like a street fight or a no holds bar or like something. But that's given to Rhea Ripley and Gonzalez, who they get a small video package and they just talk about their relationship on the coconut loop. The last women standing match should be really fun, should be really good. Elgato del Fantasma, I have a big issue with them, and it's not really because of them, it's really because they're booking. Because on the show, Isaiah Swerve Scott can have a match with Bronson Reed, but NXT can't find any like challengers for Escobar. Like they can't have him, you know, go face these guys that are not in the cruiserweight division. So when Escobar comes out and he'd be like, "Oh, we was running shit. We ran shit the whole year, blah blah, blah this and that," and I was just like, "You ain't run shit like Undisputed Era did, because you guys have been just like pigeonholed into like this one thing." Even Drake Maverick got out, and he's starting to do bigger things than Elgato del Fantasma right now. And when he was talking about like, you know, there's nobody here to face me. There's like, you know, we run this, like they have no challengers for me. I was really, really, really terrified, and I thought Kushida was gonna come out and challenge him for the title, or you know, face him that night. I would have been so worried. But Lucha House Party comes back. Grand Metalik and Lince Dorado. Whatever. I could care less, honestly. I would care for Santos Escobar a lot. I would care about Santos Escobar a lot more if he was like facing non-cruiserweights, and facing non-cruiserweights and winning. Like if you face like Bronson Reed and like beat him, or like face Damian Priest and then beat him. Like a cruiserweight guy that can really hang with all like the big dudes, like he'd be like Gargano level or like Balor level. Like that would make him a legitimate, like a real threat, you know. Like I was at like Not a thought that they crossed their minds. Also, 205 Live has like a fuck ton of people on it. I'm not buying the no competitors thing. They have like a fuck ton of people on there. It's whatever to me. And then we'll be getting into our New Year's Evil predictions. But Gargano breaks the curse. He finally puts Leon Ruff down in one-on-one competition. I thought the match was really great. I am wondering if Gargano put Leon Ruff in the dirt because I have no idea where Leon Ruff is going to go forward after this. And with that said, we're going to get into our New Year's Evil prediction. I wish I had a guess so we can like really back and forth this whole thing like I normally do for prediction shows, but I'm going to end up kind of just like blitzing through this. Escobar versus Grand Metalik. Just give it to Escobar. I honestly don't care who wins, but let's give it to Escobar. Damian Priest versus Karrion Kross. Timothy Thatcher versus Tommaso Ciampa in the fight pit. Give it to Thatcher, and I would like to say TKO. I think that would be fire because I believe he won via submission against Riddle, so I think a TKO would be very interesting. Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Gonzalez in the last woman standing match, and I would say Raquel Gonzalez because there is no way they gave her the pin at War Games for no reason. And if they did, what the fuck NXT? And then we'll talk about that when the show comes. Finn Balor versus Kyle O'Reilly. I would love to see it on Kyle O'Reilly. Just well deserved, man. He is a killer. He is great. He just truly deserves it. We don't know when the next NXT pay-per-view is gonna be, so he can get the long title reign that everybody like wants. But I think just him being in that like Hall of Champions is good enough in itself. And if you want to be old school booking Cornette style, Kyle O'Reilly is literally one of the biggest baby faces on the show. So him versus Karrion Kross, who was, I wouldn't say he's like top heel. He's probably like third heel on the show. That would be a mountain to face, or just classic heel versus babyface booking. So it makes sense. But I would love to see Kyle O'Reilly take it, and then Finn Balor can possibly go back to the main roster. Do something else. And that's it for New Year's Evil. That is it for this show. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, have a happy 2020. Have a happy 2021. I listened to the A show prior to this, and I would say my wrestling resolution for next year. I did watch more women's wrestling last year. I didn't have a resolution for this year, so I would say I want to check out more that's going on in Japan. Since I am blocked from the Stardom Twitter account, I want to look more into Sendai Girls and Ice Ribbon. So that'll be my journey for 2021. As far as a end of the year list, I guess I'm gonna do a graphic and it'll come out with this episode. With this episode, so obviously I won't have the chance to talk about it on here, but that's it. Enjoy your New Year's. I'm praying that you stay inside. Just do all your bullshit at the crib. You don't have to risk dying to have fun. That is it for me. You can check out all the shows on the A Show RNC feed. You can follow us on Twitter at the A Show RNC. You can follow me on Twitter at H_visibility. I talked about Power Rangers this week. You can finally check that out. You can see me live tweet about Power Rangers. I know everybody's enjoying that. That's really fun. There's going to be a part 2 of the Power Rangers conversation. I don't know if y'all caught that in the Ramen Talk title, but that's going to be a thing. We have a new episode of the Rewriters Room. We have the A Show, where they also say a lot of great things about BRODIE Lee, aka Luke Harper. Yeah, man, that's it.